There are those in Costa Mesa that are not feeling the need for the weed. Let's talk about it. Welcome to the Costa Mesa Pettis Perspective. My name is Jeff Pettis, and thanks for watching as usual. Hey, do me a favor and subscribe and hit the bell icon so you can be notified when all the videos are posted anew. So tonight we're talking about the Costa Mesa City Council meeting that was, today is the 22nd, so Tuesday the 21st of February. And I went into it with an open mind in terms of what we would discuss. I know that accessory dwelling units or ADUs were on the agenda, some other things, but I quickly realized through my favorite part of the council meeting, which is the public comments, because you get to see the citizens engage with the city government, and I think that's what they're there for. So I enjoy that part the most, and it became clear quickly that weed was on the agenda. So there were, I don't know, there's 6 or 7 folks that got up there. A lot of times these are concerted efforts. People get together as groups. I don't know if it was accidental, but lots of negative feedback about the weed shops and the weed. I like to say weed in Costa Mesa. So there's one lady talking about how, and I didn't know this, there were 14 conditional use permits, or the permits that are issued by the city that give weed shops the ability to open up a shop, like on the Harbor Boulevard, the 420 shop that Taft opened, and 14 more on the horizon. And there was people that were from different areas that were concerned. Now, what I don't want to do, I'm kind of libertarian on this issue in terms of, laws about legalizing weed and the retail sale of weed. I'm not, again, a lot of people know that I've been sober for 16 years, and I can tell you that I smoked a lot of pot and a lot of weed over the years in my younger days. So I feel like I can comment on this. And what I don't want to do is, look, if it's legalized, it passed, fine. And I'm not making a judgment either way on that. If they can get the tax dollars from it, like I said, I'm a libertarian on these things. But lately I was talking to my wife not too long ago, a couple nights ago. I'm kind of evolving in one area of the whole thing. So this whole everybody yelling about the weed thing, I think there was another thing on the agenda item. I actually missed it because I had to. I think they were voting. I think the Planning Commission had voted against one of the permits up for another Harbor Boulevard location. I think that was up. I'm not sure how the council voted on it. Doesn't matter, because this led me to think about talking about this, being that I have evolved, and I will tell you what I mean by that. Not on the legality of it. It's here to stay, whatever. But in my line of work, most of you know, or some of you know, that I work in mental health at, I manage outpatient and inpatient psychiatry at the VA in Long Beach. So I have a lot of also personal experience with, like I said, I've smoked a lot of weed. But now in my work, in the years that I've been in recovery, especially in my professional career, I've gotten to see what weed has, how weed has evolved over the years, and I've actually kind of changed my tune on how I look at it. And I also have the advantage of having access to published studies, doctors that do research in this, people that have written books on it. I can go and sit down and talk to them about it. So I want to talk to you about it a little bit, what I mean by that. So looking at potency, okay, in 1995, when I went to my first treatment for weed and other things, it was at about 4% potency. This is an average in THC levels from 1995. This first study through 2014. In one of my first rehab in 1995, buying weed, sack of weed from Mexico, wherever it was, about 4% average. You could get the chronic every now and then, but averaged out to be about 4%. My second time, when I decided to go out and do some field research and decided to try weed again in 2007, the average THC level was 10%. So 4% from 95 to 10% in 2007. By 2014, THC average potency in percentage had gone to 12% by 2014. Now, you look at the worldwide statistics, and I'm going to fast forward to 2017. It is now at 17% potency. So back in the day when I was running and gunning 4%, that's what, nearly a fourfold increase in potency. And what does that mean? I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. And the reason for the potency is a lot of things. They've as most of you know, or some of you know, it's not just the buds anymore. It's not just buying some weed and you smoke a bowl and that's it. It's now you have the oils, you have the dabs, you have the edibles, you have all these different waxes, different things that can be purchased, especially in the weed shops. That the potency level on the concentrated versions are 80 to 90% THC, which is this has evolved from your basic smoking a joint and getting high to a drug that I think is no longer the drug that we were used to, and I think it's worth talking about. And what we're seeing in the clinical environment, because I see people that are admitted usually for multiple diagnosis, comorbidities. They could have a primary, say it's a schizophrenic diagnosis, oftentimes comorbidities of cannabis use disorder, whatever, meth, alcohol use disorder. But what we're seeing people come in, some people strictly with cannabis use disorder, and they're demonstrating with psychotic symptoms, heavy paranoia. I'm not talking about paranoia like back in the day when you got too baked and you didn't want to go around your parents. I'm talking about real life psychotic, audio. The way we talk about it is responding to audio visual hallucinations. We're seeing more and more of that, and it's just when the UDS comes back, or the urine drug screen, it's just THC levels, but they're extremely high. The main thing I also think, other than the THC levels rising over the years and how it's presenting clinically in the treatment environment at the hospital, you look at the pharmacokinetics, sorry, I can't talk tonight, of the different formulations is where the main issue lies. And so take Jeff back in the 90s, ripped a bong hit, got really high, couple hours, went to sleep, and that was it, right? So it's a really high, short fall, and it's an immediate inhalation of the smoke into your lungs, alveoli, bloodstream high, and then it's over relatively quick. An hour, usually to 2 hours is the duration. Now, these edibles, and mostly when they talk about dabs, all the dabs for the boomers out there, and I don't know if the kids can stop listening because they already know, but dabbing is basically just heating up a wax in a pen and inhaling it. But it's a super concentrated version. That is a higher. It's a similar way to get high, but the potency is much higher. Now the edibles it's a far different story. So I eat some gummies, I eat some brownies, whatever it is I bought at the store at 420 on Harbor. I'm not getting high. I'm going to eat some more. I don't do this very often. Man, I'm not feeling anything get high. So pretty soon I've eaten an extremely high level of THC, and it takes, the onset can be up to 2 hours and then last on out to 9 hours. So you're talking about overdose situations, which we never used to see in the old days with weed. So that is where I have evolved, meaning I'm still libertarian on the laws. Fine, let capitalism work, let the legal system work. States can do it, feds no, but I think it's important to point out that it's a different ball game now. So I think it's worth putting it out there, kind of a public service announcement, if you will. One thing I do not like seeing, and again, I'm not preaching. People are going to do what they want to do. People want to drink alcohol, smoke weed, do whatever they want. That's fine. That's an individual choice. But I don't think, I think that it's legal at the state level, but it's definitely illegal at the federal level. So I think that our city leaders, at federal, state, and down to the city level should not be promoting the use of cannabis. Maybe you could promote it for the business aspect and the tax revenue it'll bring to the city, but I think the actual use is something that we should not do for the reasons I just brought up, because we don't want kids that don't know what they're doing ingesting this stuff and ending up in the hospital with psychotic symptoms. Case in point, where you have an example would be our Mayor Stevens was quoted in the December 3rd Daily Appellate edition. The quote was, Costa Mesa Mayor John Stevens, a supporter of retail cannabis, was among the dispensary's first customers. And there was an article written on the opening of that store. And he was quoted as saying, while not providing specific details, Stevens indicated he did make a purchase. And his quote was, on the record, I bought some things. He said, it's legal. So that's cool. Do your thing. Stevens can go home and rip bong hits and do his thing, but I don't think he should be, as the sitting mayor, I'm not so sure that that's the best message to be putting out there for drug use. Again, to each his own. Those are my feelings. Be kind to yourself. Be good to each other. Together we can get it done. Bye for now.